Good morning there, racing fans. Welcome back to the channel, proudly sponsored by betting.co.uk. I don't usually do any videos for Sunday, but there's a few selections that I actually fancy. And we've had a pretty decent weekend of it as well in my paid group. So I thought I'd just jump on and bring you a few selections for today's race. And I've got one from Southall, one from Punchestown, and one from Musselburgh as well. And hopefully we can just continue that good form. If you'd like to go over and join the group, just for your information, there is a link in the description below. And we've had, as I said, we've had a pretty decent weekend of it as well. We had a 12-1 double land yesterday, which included 3 separate singles as well. And we actually landed 2 out of 2 bets on the UFC to go along with them. And as mentioned, there's a link in the description if you'd like to come over and join us there. But as far as today goes, we might as well start off in chronological order. So we'll take a look at the 255 at Southall. We've got a 2.5 mile handicap chase. Sageburg County is your favourite here for Warren Greatrix, and probably makes sense for him to be favourite. He's got the best form in the book, particularly over fences so far, but he is starting to become not necessarily exposed, but his form is starting to level out a little bit, and he does need to bounce back from a pretty disappointing show last time out as well. But the one I fancy here is the Chasing Debutant. It's Imperial Bede for John Joe O'Neill and John Joe Jr. Now, this horse has shown a fair level of form over hurdles, and he was actually pretty good in France as well before we came over to the John Joe team, and obviously was purchased by JP McManus. And he's a pretty nice traveller. He seems to jump hurdles okay, but he does look like a horse that's going to do much better for chasing. And I think they found the right trip for him to have a crack at on his first start as well. He did run over 2 miles on his penultimate start over hurdles. They then sent him up over 3 miles on his final start over hurdles. And again, I think I was just trying to find out the balance of his trip, see how far that he was going to be able to be functional at. And I think the 2.5 mile trip is probably going to be ideal. So he makes his chase debut here for, again, John Joe O'Neill and John Joe Jr., and he's probably quite well in based on what we've seen from his hurdles form as well, providing that he takes to chasing. He's fairly well handicapped, I think, for his debut, and could just be a little bit of a class ahead of his rivals here. The one question mark, of course, is going to be his jumping. This is his chase debut, but providing that goes well, because he would have done plenty of schooling as well, I do think he's going to be the one to beat at 7-4. It is short enough in the betting, don't get me wrong, but hopefully he can give us a good start to the day at 7-4. My next selection, if we're going to go in chronological order, actually comes in the 4-10 at Punchestown. Now, this one's actually had a little bit of a drift. Read into that what you will, but at the moment, 9-1 for Jericho de Born. Now, he's a really nice looking horse, this one. He improved on his last 3 starts, to be honest, winning 2 of those 3 starts, and just seems like he's a nice horse going the right way. When he won at Wexford just before Christmas, I guess you could have actually questioned that form and wondered if that was a bit of a fluke. But he then ran a really good race at Fairyhouse to finish less than 2 lengths behind a decent winner in quite a deep handicap, and then improved on that to win at Fairyhouse next time out on soft and heavy ground. So everything, again, to be honest, seems to be in his favour. I do think the main danger is going to be rushing here from Danny Mullins. He's obviously does really well with these sorts that are going forward. But Jericho de Born, I do think, is going to be still pretty nicely handicapped at the moment. He's still improving, and even though the drift has gone out from 6-1 to 9-1, I wouldn't really let that concern me too much. You're getting plenty of places in this field. So each way, Jericho de Born at 9-1 will be selection number 2. And then my final selection for the day comes over at Musselburgh. Quite a tricky one to figure out, but I think Badari is going to be the one that's going to take most beating here. He did win this race last season he won this race, and he's been coming into form slowly in his last couple of runs. Now, he's not going to have too many big days left in Badari. He is an 11-year-old now, but I'm sure he's going to be geared up to the 9th for a repeat effort in this race. And he runs off the same mark as last year too, so you'd have to give him an obvious chance. He's another that's actually drifted from 3-1 out to 4-1. Not too concerned about that. I do think some people will be trying to get this horse beat because there's not a lot of ones next to his name, and a few of the others for that matter. But I do think he's a decent punt each way at 4-1. A little bit muggy if you want to back him each way. You could just go for the win. but I do think he'll give you a good run for your money nonetheless. So there's 3 selections for you. We've got Imperial Bede in the 255 at Southall. We've got Jericho DeBone in the 410 at Punchestown. And then we've got Badari in the 420 at Musselburgh as well. There's some really good racing over at Punchestown. Of course, we get to see No Flies on him take on Tully Hill. That might help, obviously, paint a bit of a bigger picture for the 2 horses as far as Cheltenham concerned, but I will obviously have a bit of a review into those races next week, and I'm actually going to be back on Wednesday with Jamie and Scotty bringing you our lucky 15s for the Cheltenham Festival as well. So don't forget to hit subscribe, because you will then be notified when that episode comes out with our selections, and if you are able to do so, please do click the thumbs up as well. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Good luck with your bets today, and I'll see you all real soon. Bye for now.